Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Health Education Made Simple. Today's video is primarily based on the anatomy of the urinary system. So this organ over here, as you can see, this is the kidney. We know that if I go back, we know that the primary organs that are comprised of the urinary system are the kidneys and the bladder. We do have other things like the ureter and the urethra. However, the biggest main are the kidneys and the bladder. So let's have a look at the kidney. So this organ is the kidney. We've got two kidneys, the left and the right kidney. So this over here, this image presents one kidney. In the kidney, there are a few structures that we need to be very familiar with. So things like spotter exams, you can have this organ present to you and you'll have to identify some main features. So let's just go over some of the really major ones. So around the outside of the kidney is called the renal capsule. Okay, so the renal capsule is pretty much the outside. It's the outermost. So basically, it's a capsule that holds the kidney together, and that is called the renal capsule. We've got another layer which is from the renal capsule to about over here, which this is the pyramid, so about the pyramid, and it's called the renal cortex. So we've got renal capsule, renal cortex, and we've got another layer which is from here and to the innermost, which is called the renal medulla. Okay, so I don't want to draw on this just yet. Actually, you know what, I might just draw it to kind of show you. So I'll draw the renal capsule in yellow. So the renal capsule, I won't draw all the way, but you get the idea. The renal capsule is the outside. Then I'll draw the renal cortex in blue. So from here up about here is the renal cortex, and then I'll draw the renal medulla in red. So pretty much from here, from the renal cortex all the way down. Okay, so that's the renal medulla. Okay, so other basic, let me just check if I can get a color that's suitable. I think purple should do. Okay, so we've got some basic things to identify. We've got these little blasted kind of looking things, and they are pyramids. Okay, so we've got one pyramid over here, we've got another pyramid over here, another one over here, another one here and here. So these are the renal pyramids. Then in between the pyramids we have something called the renal column. Okay, it's very hard to see on this picture, but I will make it visible. So this is the renal column. Okay, we've got another one here. So it's pretty much, it's in between the pyramids. So every time, some of them are not visible, like these ones are very you know, they're there, but they're just stuck to each other. So we've got renal columns in between the pyramids. And we've also got this big boat-looking shape, and that is called the renal pelvis. Okay, because it's sort of like the pelvis where the renal, where the urinary drainage kind of comes down through. So it's like a pelvis. So this is the renal pelvis, and then the renal pelvis, it has another long tube, which is this, and that is called the ureter or the ureter. Okay, depending how you like to pronounce it, but the ureter. The ureter must not be confused with the urethra. I'll write the spelling down for the. Ooh, what's happening? Okay, I lost my mouse. There it is. Okay, I'll write the spelling for urethra, ureter. Sorry. So this is the ureter, and it's spelled like this, ureter. Okay, just so you don't get confused with the urethra. So that's the ureter, and we've got two of that. So basically the function of this, it's like a messenger or a pipe. So the kidney filters and the water drainage kind of comes down from the papillas to the pyramids to the minor calyx, the major calyx, and comes down. I know I just said a few words that you're not familiar with, but I will go over them. It goes down to the renal pelvis and comes down through the ureter and then into your bladder. Okay, so let's continue some other identification. So we've got here, we've got these little structures over here, and these are called calyx. Okay, so we've got a major calyx, which is so the major ones are from the renal pelvis right about to the halfway through the pyramid, and to the pyramid they kind of branch out to the pyramid. So over here we can see a good example of minor calyx. So this would be a minor calyx, that would be a minor calyx, okay, and then this, so from here to here, that would be a major calyx. Okay, so hopefully you can actually identify. So that's major, you just put MJ, and then these little ones, that one and that one and that one, that would be minor, MN. Okay, another thing we can see on this diagram is this little structure, and that is the renal papilla. Okay, so the renal papilla. Other things, we can see the renal artery and the renal vein. Okay, and we've got this other structure that it's in the cortex. It comes from the renal capsule to the renal pyramid, and it's these arteries over here, and they are called the interlobular arteries. Okay, interlobular arteries. That's all. If we go to the next image, we can see primarily the renal artery, and then we've got, that's the renal artery, we've got the renal vein, we can see nice big pyramids, we can see the renal columns. So see how the renal column is visible in some areas and not so much in other areas. That's another renal column, and these are the renal pyramid. We can also see renal sinuses. That's what the renal sinuses are, so these yellow sections, they're called the renal sinus, and they can be found on both the pyramid and the renal column. Another big thing that we can see on this diagram is the adrenal gland. So this is the suprarenal adrenal gland, or suprarenal gland, and you've got two of them, one on each kidney. Okay, so suprarenal gland. We've got this structure, you should know by now, that is the ureter, and we've got arteries that are not very good on this diagram, and we've got a renal pelvis over here. Let's go to the next diagram. This diagram shows the abdominal section, but primarily to do with the urinary system. I just want to point out the kidneys. So we've got the left kidney over here, and then the right kidney over here. We've also, excuse me, we've also got, the important thing is the ureter here. So two ureters, one draining from the left kidney, one draining from the right kidney, and we've got, this is the bladder. So we've got down and drains into the bladder. Okay. And next one, we've got the reproductive system. However, we don't have to go too much into the reproductive system. The only reason why I put it up is so we can kind of see some of the organs to do with the urinary system. So we've got the bladder here. We've got this muscle called the detrusor muscle. So that's the muscle, detrusor muscle. We've got the ureter, which is visible. And then we've got the urethra. So remember when I was telling you don't get confused between ureter and urethra? Well, this is the urethra. The urethra comes down and exits through the glans penis. So this is the glans penis, is this section over here. So the urethra, after the water has kind of drained from the kidneys down through the ureter and into the bladder, from the bladder the muscles contract and it goes down through the opening on the internal orifice of the bladder, and it goes down to the prostate gland. So this is a males, and this organ over here, it's called the prostate gland. So the urethra comes down from the bladder to the prostate gland and goes past the pubic bone, or just inferior to the pubic bone, sorry, and it goes into the penis, spongy penis, and it comes down through the glans penis and exits. So that's pretty important over here as well. And we've got another reproductive system, and the only thing you can see on this model is pretty much the bladder over here. We can actually see the muscles as well. So it's not a great diagram for the urethra, but we can see a big opening of the urethra through the spongy urethra and into the glans penis as well. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.